Hello, hello! Perfidious Pete here, with the start of a brand new series as the galaxy's greatest salt miner slash cereal mascot and his trusty mule Rick set up shop in Rimworld. But Pete, you ask, what could possibly convince Crusty Cornelius to ever give up his glamorous, lucrative Hollywood career as the spokesperson for Perfidious Pete's Crunchy Bile and Salt cereal? Well, my hypothetically skeptical friend, I'm very glad you asked. Remember back in the early 90s when the pressure of cereal spokesmanship and unmitigated fame got to be too much for Cap'n Crunch and Sonny the Cocoa Puffs cuckoo bird, and they went on that PCP-fueled 9-day, 6-state killing spree? Remember that? No, of course you don't remember it, because General Mills is a multi-billion-dollar food processing corporation, and they've got the sort of power and money that can make a thing like that fade away more quietly than David Schwimmer's career, and that's exactly what they did. Unfortunately for Crusty Cornelius, though, the Perfidious Pete cereal concern doesn't quite have General Mills' multi-billion-dollar assets. So when the ATF showed up at his house and found a half-dozen hobo corpses riddled with bullets from a 30-06 at the bottom of a mine shaft at the rear of his property, old Crusty Cornelius, he had no choice but to leg it. Perfidious Pete can't afford the kind of attorneys that can make a thing like that never have happened. Is Crusty Cornelius going to be upset by this odd quirk of fate, though? You know, not really. Crusty was always a reluctant fame whore, just sort of, he really never wanted to be in the limelight. He was always kind of a loner, just wanted to be left alone. And now, out here on the Rimworld, Crusty Cornelius can shoot whomever the hell he pleases with his trusty 30-06, and nobody's gonna care, because Rick the Mule loves murder. So let's get the Ballad of Crusty Cornelius underway and make this a song of pure glory that will resonate throughout the universe, no matter how far away Crusty Cornelius happens to be from the planet of his birth. So we're going to go with our AI storyteller. Little quick backstory here on Rimworld. Rimworld is a colony simulator sci-fi game. It's got an AI-driven storyteller who sort of determines what kind of random events happen and in what order. We're going to be playing on rough difficulty, which is the equivalent of normal, and we're going to go with Cassandra the Classic. There are a couple different storytellers here. You've got Phoebe Chillax. Time between disasters with Phoebe are a little bit longer, but when Phoebe does throw a disaster at you, she tends to throw more difficult disasters. And then, of course, there's Randy Random, who just generates completely random events. Like, you could get an alien invasion just after you set up shot, or you could go a long time with relatively minor. It could be like, oh, there's a heat wave, and that's the only thing that happened this year. Randy Random is really unpredictable. We're just going to go with Cassandra Classic, get the kind of garden variety Rimworld sort of play. Are you playing with any mods, Pete? Yes, and you're about to see them. First, though, we got to create a world. What world do we want to play on? Well, I mean, we're playing Crusty Cornelius, the Bile and Salt Master himself. I really think there's only one possible seed for this particular run. We're going to seed it with salt. Let's play on a little bit bigger than the default map. We'll go 250 by 188. Generate that bad boy up for me. All right, so we get to select the landing site. Where would Crusty Cornelius feel the most comfortable? He is a salt miner, so we got to get Crusty Cornelius in some kind of mountainous terrain. I really feel like he's going to feel most at home, probably digging himself a hole in the mountain, and, you know, digging a hole for tossing the 30-06 bullet-riddled corpses of hobos down. You got to have some place to dispose of those corpses. You can't just leave them lying around. I mean, the ATF will show up and haul your ass to jail, so... What about here? Good growing period, 1st of spring to the 11th of fall. We got slate, limestone, and granite. Not terrible. Can we do better? What would it come like over here? The 6th of spring to the 6th of fall. So we're in kind of a temperate climate, which is fine. This is like your northern deciduous forest kind of thing. Sandstone, slate, and granite. Sandstone and granite. What about like over here, maybe? On the edge of this desert. 1st of spring to the 11th of fall. Limestone and marble. Interesting. Granite, slate, and marble. This looks pretty good. We're sort of on the edge of a zone here. Let's zoom out. Do we have any... Ooh, there is an encampment of something nearby. What are you? The Dark Oxes, a pirate band. So there's a pirate base near this particular starting spot. Yeah, Crusty Cornelius is going to need some people he could possibly trade with, and he's the sort of guy who's going to fit in really well, I think, with pirates. Pirates and old Crusty Cornelius, they're going to get along. So let's just select this as our site. And we're going to be using one mod for this run through. We're going to be using the Prepare Carefully. It's the EDB Prepare Carefully mod, which basically lets us create custom characters or modify characters. And we are going to be preparing carefully. I hate to break it to you here, Lynn Wilson. I know you were desperate to become a colonist, but there's only one colonist for this run, and that's going to be Crusty Cornelius the Digger. Krusty's backstory: he was a drudge before he became a cereal mascot and, the champion of sweet, sweet, delicious bile and salt. He was never sure what he wanted to do with his life, spent most of his time doing low-wage jobs and wondering what his future would be. Never imagined himself as a cereal spokesman, but that's what it came up with. Of course, Crusty never more at home than he's digging for salt. He loves to mine the salt. What traits does Crusty have? He's abusive. He's a miner. He's like a grizzled prospector from the early turn of the century. Yeah, consign it all. Shoot you in the face from a 30-06, boy, howdy. Yep, he's a crazy lunatic. He does have an annoying voice, as just evidence. Crusty Cornelius, of course. That's part of the cereal mascot gig. You can't be a cereal mascot unless you have an annoying voice. And of course, Crusty, an absolute and total psychopath. Little did the Perfidious Pete cereal concern realize Crusty was a crazed lunatic and madder than a hatter when we hired him for the job. We should have probably been tipped off by the fact that he brought his own mule, but we just thought maybe he was really into the role. His skills: Crusty, excellent miner, passion for mining. He's a little bit of a crafter with a passion for that, likes making new tools. Of course, Crusty loves shooting people with his 30-06. The remainder of his skills, we just gave him sort of some average in everything. He's not fantastic really at anything other than mining, but he's not terrible at a lot of your important skills. Construction, growing. Crusty is going to be alone when he starts out on the Rimworld, so it seems important to give him a good fighting chance. Plus, he's got that cereal money backing him up. Crusty did squirrel away a little bit of his fortune. He didn't squander it all. Some of it, yeah, he left it down the shaft with the dead hobos when the ATF came, but he had some tucked away in his mattress that he also managed to make off with. Was it a wild flight from the police, considering he was hauling a mattress? Yeah, it absolutely was. You're going to see what we start with here. 500 silver, of course, Krusty's ill-gotten mattress loot. 50 packaged survival meals. He's a cereal mascot. Crusty Cornelius took some boxes of crunchy bile and salt cereal with him when he went. Medicine, little known fact, Crusty Cornelius' bile and salt cereal is part of a balanced breakfast, and in a pinch can be smashed down and compacted into a healing poultice that will cure the most grievous of wounds. He's got 30 components, of course, his trusty 30-06, a male thrumbo, which is actually going to be representative of Rick the Mule, because you can't actually get a mule in Rimworld. It seemed like a thrumbo was the creature closest. 500 steel, 500 wool. Let's do it. 500 steel and 500 wool, not 500 steel wool. If you had 500 units of steel wool, I'm not really sure what you could do with it. You could start a raging bonfire, because steel wool really does burn violently when you ignite it. But other than that, This is it. This is the place. The mother lode of salt sings beneath the earth a siren song, but is an indiscriminate call. Others will hear, and they will come. But this salt belongs to no one else. Rick will help. Rick understands, and only he can be trusted. Protect the salt from all others, whatever the cost. This is the Crusty Cornelius motto. This is his mission. This is his destiny. So here we go. We have started. All right. So first thing we got to do on Rimworld, of course, we want to set up some manner of base. And we got really lucky. We actually spawned near what appears to be some kind of house. Is this some sort of structure? That's interesting. We could use that to make our first little settlement, but we're also in like a little bit of a nook here. We could just wall this off. All right, let's look around and see what else we've got. So let's zoom the map out a little bit. Get a lay of the land. Yeah, that's right, Pete. If we're going to be setting up shop, we got to know where the best mining spots are, boy. Got to find the salt, Pete. We got to find it. So, wow, we got a big potential for like underground layers here. Crusty could dig himself quite a bunker in which to hide. Also, you know what else we could do? We could deconstruct this, use these walls, and just wall straight across here, and then bam, this whole area is suddenly indoors. We've got our own friggin' fortress. It comes pre-built. That may be a little... that's a really big area, though. Do we really want all of that to start out with? Maybe I'm being a little greedy. Maybe that's a little aggressive. I think what we'll do instead, well, first things first, let's unforbid all of these items. We want Crusty to be able to interact with this stuff. So we gotta unforbid our wood, we gotta unforbid our steel. Crusty needs to be able to interact with, what are you, a raccoon? What a cute little guy. It's a healthy female raccoon. I'm glad she's healthy and not rabid, because we'd have to put her ass down. I think the first thing we should do is definitely have Crusty Cornelius come over here and grab his trusty 30-06.
That's right, Pete. Any claim jumpers come over here and try to jump the claim on my salt mine, I'm gonna riddle them with holes. Yeah.
The voice actually kind of hurts my throat a little bit.
Well, it is an annoying voice, Pete.
Well, you're not wrong, Crusty. All right, so let's unforbid some of these packaged survival meals. One thing we do also want to do is get our goods indoors. These things, as you can tell, have a health bar. They will begin to slowly degrade until we can get them into like an indoor storage spot. I really like the idea of just walling this off straight away. What if we just... Okay, that's what we're going to do. Let's just build ourselves a wall. Crusty? No, we don't. We want actually a wooden wall. I think we just take it straight across. Oh, hey, we've got minerals over here, too. Let's just do this. We go there. We're also going to build a wooden door. We'll just slap this on front, and we've got, bam, immediately pre-made structure. Gonna take Crusty Cornelius a while to roof this off, and we're gonna actually up the speed a little bit. Rimworld is a fantastic game. We've been playing a lot of Rimworld on a stream. I've really been looking forward to the Crusty Cornelius playthrough, I'm not gonna lie. Crusty, oh, he's a mad lunatic. Look at him build, though, man. Crusty, handy with the hammer.
That's right, Pete. I've built a lot of coffins in my day. You kill as many hobos as old Crusty Cornelius. Boy, when you're a famous person, you really gotta be handy. Gotta make them bodies disappear, just like that David Schwimmer fella. When's the last time you heard of him doing anything that wasn't Friends-related, huh?
We've also got some bunnies and rats. These rats are gonna, like, be inside of our house when things start. I'm not really enthused about that. We're barricading a raccoon and a rat into our own home. Seems like maybe slightly suboptimal. While Krusty's doing that, let's go ahead and get some other stuff out of the way. One thing we are going to want to do, of course, we're going to want to get a stockpile going so that Crusty has a spot to put his materials. We'll just drop that right there. Should you not be roofing this, Crusty? Why are you not building a rooftop, buddy? What's with the lack of a roof? Gonna just go ahead and start. Okay, well, let's pause this for a second because Krusty's gonna go ahead and immediately start stockpiling. So let's expand our build roof area, and I want to roof all of this. Just roof it. Give me all of this roofed. We'll do that, and then let's roof this in as well. There we go. Now, all of this will become an indoor area for the Crustmeister. This is going to be it. This is the foundation of the mine. This is where the whole enchilada takes place. Rick's coming inside to check it out, keep us company. Rick's the strong, silent type. He doesn't say much, but he's there when it counts. He's the one thing that keeps us even tenuously sane. He gives us a little grip on our own sanity. We should also probably build Crusty a bed immediately. Once we get this area phased as indoors, I think we've got to throw a bed down. Crusty Cornelius is going to want to sleep indoors, and he's damn sure going to want to sleep on a bed. All those years of salt mining, Krusty's got a bad back. And you don't want to see Crusty when he's had to spend a night on the floor. Talk about getting shot in the throat. Crusty, he's going to straight up take you out if he had to spend a hard night on the cold surface of the ground on a strange foreign planet. We also want to check our home area here. So let's expand what is considered home for us. First off, you know what? Let's clear some home area because this outdoors, this is not home. Well, you know what? Let's do it. We'll put a little bit of that back. Let's do that, and then we're going to make it so that all of this stuff is considered Krusty's home. Krusty's laid claim.
That's right, Pete. This is my claim. Anybody comes into what territory is mine, I'm going to shoot him for a claim jumper. No court in the world will convict me, Pete. Well, you know, except for all the courts that already done convicted me of the 62 counts of hobo murder. But those are a long way away, Pete. Crusty Cornelius is a free man. That's why I came out to this Rimworld. I'm not going to be oppressed by the laws of the universe. It doesn't recognize a claim jumper as an actual claim jumper, Pete. I'm not going to have any of that nonsense. You come and jump Crusty Cornelius' claim? Crusty, he going to put you down, boy?
You done roofing yet, Crusty? Man, all right. Krusty's building a lot of roof. One other thing we should do, let's start to... Okay, so we've got... What are you? We've got some raspberry bushes. We do just want to take like a quick look around at our surroundings here. More raspberry bushes up here. I'm interested in assigning some grow zones. Let's go ahead and get those started. Can we grow here? No, this land is barren. I'm kind of finicky when it comes to the design phase of my structure. I like things to be regular. 6 by 6, that seems respectable. I don't want to put a grow zone over this raspberry bush, though, because we could ultimately harvest that. I don't want to outsource my raspberries. There's a lot of raspberries. We actually got very lucky in that we started near quite a few raspberry bushes. Can we grow here? Yeah, but again, we're killing our own raspberries. What about if we do no raspberries here? So let's just drop a grow zone. Let's say right here. We'll just do 6 by 6. It seems like a pretty respectable size for early on, and we want 3 of these. Let's assign them things to grow over here. Crusty? What's your growing skill at, Crusty? I honestly don't remember. Let's take a look at Krusty's stats. All right, Krusty's growing is a 5. That's respectable, if not fantastic. So what could we grow? We could grow strawberries. Honestly, I think we're probably best to start off with just simple. Let's get some rice. Come over to this grow zone, and I think we throw down maybe, maybe some potatoes. And then in this grow zone, we are going to want some cotton because we're going to need cloth for furnishings. Krusty's got that bad back. We want to get him a nice chair, some other nice things. We definitely need to get our components here unforbidden. So we've got our steel, we've got our components, everything's unforbidden. We're going to want to have Crusty start hauling this stuff inside. And also, since Crusty is a miner, the man was born to dig, I think we need to build a dumping zone too. But since this indoor area is technically Krusty's house, we kind of don't want him dumping slag and old busted pilings and leavings from inside the mine in his own house. So let's make a small dumping zone, and we'll just stick that over here. And I say small, but it actually turns out to be pretty big. Let's zone our storage areas. So this storage area, what are your rules? Okay, we allow rotten? No. We only want really resources, items, weapons, apparel, no body parts. We're going to dig a special hole for body parts and corpses. Don't worry, we will have a legitimate mine shaft in which to chuck that stuff. And what about out here? Out here we want no corpses. Broken weapons are fine. No rotten stuff. But we do want to allow chunks. And in here, no chunks. This means we'll haul slag and busted rock out of our house. Let's also get Crusty. We got to start basic furniture. Again, like I said, Crusty, he'll be real salty if we try and make him sleep on the ground. So let's just have him go ahead and build himself a bed very quickly. We'll just stick that over here in this corner. Hashtag beds for Crusty. Hashtag never sleep alone.
Oh, Pete, I hate to break it to you, but Krusty's only ever going to sleep alone. No woman in her right mind will touch Crusty. Yeah, I laugh at the end of that, but it's actually more heartbreaking than funny, Pete. I'm a desperately lonely man. But every time I reach out for a little human contact, it always only ends with a 30-06 rifle and somebody getting shot in one of their vital organs, or in many cases, all of their vital organs. I can't help it, Pete. I've got a painfully powerful temper. How's Rick doing over here? Okay, he's a male thrombo of the colony, age 48. We should set up Rick's training. First off, we've got to teach Rick to be obedient. Then I think we'll teach Rick to maybe haul and rescue. Krusty's, we got to think about this too. Krusty's out here all alone, man. He's a single soul survivor, Crusty is, and if anything goes bad, he's relying on Rick the Mule to get him out of trouble. It's going to be up to Rick to save us if things go wrong. Krusty's over here. What are you doing, Crusty? What are you? Well, Pete, I'm just putting in a little pitch of potato plants there. Got my false buds.
Why is this not roofed, by the way? Shouldn't this area be roofed in? Crusty, did you not roof this? Why did you not roof it? You have wood. Oh, we need to make a sleeping spot for Rick. Oh, Rick, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm actually meant to do that. Let's get an animal sleeping spot. We'll have Rick come over here and sleep. He can sleep next to Crusty Cornelius. That's fine. They're the best of pals. They're bosom companions. Did I not zone that for a roof? No, this is totally zoned for a roof. Why is it not roofed? Is it technically indoors? Krusty's bedroom. Impressiveness? Okay, never mind. This is all Krusty's bedroom. It's ugly, it's dirty, it's dull, it's impoverished. Let's take a look at Krusty's work skills. Krusty, we can't have manual priorities set. No. So, first things first, we're going to go reassign some of Krusty's priorities. And you say first things first, Pete, but you're actually doing the first things almost at the end of this friggin' episode. Yeah, you're not wrong, but we'll run this one a little long. We got to get Krusty set up. Firefighting, patienting, doctoring, and bed rest are all very important for Krusty. We don't really care about flicking switches because we don't have anything that's actually going to switch. Warden, not a priority. Handling Rick, he's pretty self-sufficient, and I gotta say for the early part of our run here, Krusty's gonna have a lot more important things to do. Cooking, very important, let's up that. Hunting, yeah, we're probably not gonna do a whole lot of hunting. Constructing and repairing, both very important. Growing, also very important. Mining, it is very important for Crusty to mine, but you know what? We're gonna make mining Krusty's #1 priority. He's really good at it. Plant cutting, also important. Smithing, these things very much less important. We don't need to smith, we don't need to tailor, we don't really need to do art, and we don't really need to craft early on. Hauling, very important. Cleaning, fairly important, actually. We want Crusty...
Cleanliness is next to godliness, Pete. I don't want to wind up living in some dank hole. If I don't keep throwing quicklime down the shaft with all the hobo corpses, boy, the stench of the rot's really going to drive me out of my own mind.
You're not wrong, Crusty, but I think we'll leave clean at a 3 for now. There's a lot more important stuff to do than sweep the dirt floor of your walled-off cave that you live in. And Krusty's bedroom really kind of is sort of shitty. Let's turn off room stats for now. What's the temperature like? It's nice out here. This is unroofed. See, it says it's unroofed. Why is this not getting roofed in? Is it just too big? Is that what it is? We must have too large of an area, and Crusty can't roof it because there's no support. We could build some more walls, I suppose. Let's do that. Here, Crusty, what if we do this, buddy? What if we zone like an interior wall? Do we want to make the interior wall out of wood? Yeah, you know what? That's fine. We'll barricade off the stockpile a little bit. How big was this? No, I don't want a door. I want a wall again. What is this, 7? So this is going to make a room that is... All right, let's go out to 8, and we'll make a nice 7 by 7 room here. And this should be sufficient for Crusty. And now we've got like a little workshop, or alternatively, ultimately, this may wind up being like a walk-in freezer since it does have one wall that's adjacent to the outside. We will want to eventually set up like a cooling area where Crusty can keep his sundries and other spoilables. You know, like rotting corpses. Now, Pete, we're not going to keep corpses in the freezer. That's for food. Corpses are for rotting in the bottom of a filthy mine shaft. It's the Crusty Cornelius way, boy. This rabbit better not be eating Crusty. Oh, if you're eating Krusty's... Better not be eating Krusty's potatoes? Are these potatoes? Yeah, if you're eating Krusty's potatoes, oh, rabbit, you are hankering for a shooting, not the likes of which has been seen since the Elmer Fudd Bugs Bunny feud of 1936. It was a powerfully desperate feud between Bugs and Elmer. Never really did get settled. Mel Blanc unfortunately died before they could have the final apocalyptic showdown between Bugs and Elmer, wherein one of them would have been unmasked and killed in the ring. So Krusty's just sleeping. Well, let's, watching Crusty sleep, as much fun as it is. Oh, Pete, I love watching people sleep. Yeah, I know you do, Crusty, and it's real fucking creepy, so I'm going to speed time up so as not to go full Edward Cullen on this. Let's just speed up the time and let you get back to work. I don't really need to watch you sleep that much. You could have stomped on that rabbit. You might as well have eaten. Where are you going, Crusty? Where are you going, pal? Krusty's taking a little walk. All right, every man needs a good morning constitutional. Yeah, Pete, it's good for my back. Helps get my juices flowing. Also, old Crusty, from all the years of eating that bile and salt cereal, little known side effect of the bile and salt, my prostate's swollen up the size of a grapefruit, Pete. And I gotta say, a little early morning walk really does help old Crusty Cornelius literally get the juices flowing. I have trouble with urination, Pete. I'm not gonna lie. Krusty's building a door. I want to see if he will roof this after we have completed this little section. Once these walls are built, I'm curious if Crusty will roof this off. I really do want this whole area to be completely indoors. Keep going. All right, Crusty, you're building. You're a champ. Let's up the speed a little bit here. I mean, we're just watching Crusty build walls. You gonna roof it in now, Crusty? Gonna chop down this tree and finish the wall. That's fine. We could use the wood anyway. There it is. Now Krusty's roofing. Bam! Nice work, Cruster. So we have a fully roofed-in area now. We got a sleeping spot for Rick, and how'd our bed turn out? It's a shoddy bed. Well, that sucks. An animal sleeping spot. I guess we can't assign that, but we can't assign this bed. For now, this owner, of course, it's going to be Crusty. He's the only man who lives in our colony, and now Krusty's going to go plant, what are these? Planting some cotton. All right. That's right, Pete. I'm going to plant me some cotton, boy. When the fall comes, I'm going to have so much cloth, I won't even know what to do with it all. Maybe I'll make myself an armchair, Pete. Alternatively, maybe I'll sew shrouds for all the hobo corpses. We haven't seen another person on this Rimworld yet, Crusty. You seem to be getting awfully excited about shooting people that don't really exist yet. And speaking of shooting people, we do have Cassandra as the AI storyteller, and one of the first events Cassandra does tend to like to throw, she does tend to like to send a raid. Maybe, just maybe, we should build some defenses. Nothing crazy or elaborate. What if we just build a little sandbag barricade here around the entrance to our home? It doesn't have to be that big. Only really Krusty's going to be using it for cover. I don't hate this idea. We're going to use some of our steel. Crusty, he can mine steel. Crusty should not have a difficult time finding it. Actually, isn't there some in our house? What are you? Yeah, you actually are compacted steel. So we can get more steel. I don't really mind using it early. One other thing we want to do here too, Crusty. I don't really care when you sleep or for how long. Well, no, here. You do anything here. We're going to adjust Krusty's schedule. I do want Crusty to go to sleep at a reasonable time. We're sending him to bed at 10 p.m. when the sun goes down.
That's right, Pete. Nothing good ever happens to nobody after the sun goes down. You best be on home before the streetlights come on. That was what Krusty's mom always told her, and it's a paradigm I've lived by my whole life. Every single hobo I've ever shot and thrown down a mine shaft was all after dark.
So what we're going to do then to make sure that Crusty is home before the streetlights come on, he's going to go to bed at 10 o'clock, but we only are going to schedule him for 2 hours of sleep, and then we'll leave the rest of his schedule wide open. That way, if his back starts bothering him in the night or his swollen prostate, kind of presses on the bladder and gives him the urge to pee, Crusty can take care of those needs without any further intervention. And as soon as we plant this last field, Krusty's going to have himself a little nap. Well, you know what? The day has closed on the first day of Crusty Cornelius' Rimworld adventure, and I think that may be it for the first episode as well. If you enjoyed it, feel free to drop a like down in the comment section. Of course, your support does really mean a lot to us, especially on the start of a new series like Rimworld. Rimworld is a fantastic game. I really can't recommend it enough. It is, it's still in early access. It's, I think, $29.99 on Steam. A little bit pricey. You're definitely going to get your money's worth out of Rimworld. It is supremely fun. Fantastic. Heartily recommend it. Crusty Cornelius would recommend it if he weren't asleep. He's probably dreaming of it right now.
No, Pete, my dreams exist exclusively of hobos, bullets, and mine shafts. But, well, that and bile and salt. You know how I feel about that as well. Still, you might pick it up anyway.
There you go. Rimworld, endorsed by Crusty Cornelius. The only thing he's endorsed other than Perfidious Pete's Crunchy Bile and Salt cereal, so it's a hearty recommendation. If you'd like to see more, you might consider subscribing as well. Of course, we post new episodes of Rimworld every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Right now, thanks very much for watching. It's good night from Crusty, good night from Pete. I'll see you again soon.